Hi, this is Lee, and this is me painting Zantanna from Batman the Animated Series Adventure from IDW Games. I believe the board game's full name is actually Shadow of the Bat, but anyway, I also painted other miniatures from this board game, and I have a small showcase video in my channel. And if you're looking for Batman, Batgirl, Robin, Catwoman, and Joker, Harley Quinn, those characters, I have them there, and I think it covers all the unique characters from the base game, and also Zatanna and Poison Ivy, those two from expansion. So take a look, and this video is just me painting Zatanna. Right, back to the miniature. The board game is for Batman the Animated Series. It's old, it's classic, it's simple. So all the sculptures of this board game contains that feature, so they're all simple. There is no like small texture sculpted on or small complex structures. They're all quite big details and then big shapes, big chunk of blocks. So that's good. That keeps the feature of the animation, and I appreciate that. The miniatures quality is actually pretty good. I've seen miniatures that renders shows tons of details and then end up with quite blurry in PVC. Those ones are actually alright. The details capture, let's say, pretty much all details from the render. So the whatever the render shows, the miniatures has it, and because of that, the simplicity of the miniature also brings like a point you need to think while you painting this miniature. Well, I was having only this one goal to make it clean because of those big flat surfaces, and I don't use like specific color for specific paints for each color or for each area. I do mix paints, so I want to like keep the surface clean and keep the color clean, and then again showing the simplicity of this miniature. So all the paints I used are still from Citadel base paints. For this particular miniature, I used Corax White, Abandon Black, Morphstone Red, Markridge Blue, and Morphin Brown. Maybe a little bit Everland Sunset. I'm not entirely sure. It is on the sheet over there, but I can't remember if I actually used it. Anyway, the mixture of colors. I talked about skin tones in the Little Mermaid painting process video before, I believe. I'll just go through it again. So for me, while I was painting skins, I always use a little bit brown plus white. That's the quickest way, the easiest way I found to simulate skin tones. Alternatively, you can use orange plus white, so essentially red plus yellow then plus white. So those two will give you like completely different result. Orange plus white will look a little bit healthier, but you can always modify it after you have this color. If you want healthier color scheme and add more red, add more yellow, and if you're looking for like quite dark skin, add more brown, shadows of the skin tones, adding brown, adding other like colors if you have the specific lighting setup in your mind. Highlights, adding more red, and then if it's more male-ish, adding more yellow. So yeah, if you're looking for pale skin, add more white. If you're looking for those grayish, add more black. Black will make the skin tone look a little bit dead. So I don't really use black while I was painting skins, but it will help if you're looking for like strong shadow areas. Then after you have the skin tone base color sorted, after you put the paints, well, thin your paints first. Always thin your paints. After you put first layer or second layer, well, you think the base color is actually done, you are starting to refine the face structure. So foreheads, nose, cheeks, chins, upper eyelids, all those areas are supposed to be highlighted if you don't have, again, a specific lighting setup in your mind. So by default, those areas should be brighter than the rest of the area, and then the rest of the area, like the areas underneath the eyebrows, and then the sides of the nose, those should be like shadowed areas. So for highlights, adding more white or yellow or any color of the lighting you have in your mind. For darker shadow areas, adding more brown or orange. It depends on the tone of the skin you want. And then different areas like eye areas, mouth. So I think I talk a lot about eyes in the Little Mermaid one as well, but I'm just gonna go through again. You can either paint the whole eye area black and then paint white in the middle and to make the black outline, or you can paint the entire area white and then use a fine brush to actually outline the frame. The keys of painting great eyes are, first, you need a great shape. You need to get the shape right, and then you need to get the focus right. You don't want one eye looking to right and one eye looking to left. That will make the character looks a little bit weird. So you have those sorted. If you want to push the detail to a different level, adding highlights on the pupils, adding iris, adding details. But for most 28 or 32 millimeter scale miniatures, you don't really need to. You can spend like an hour, 2 hours, even 3 hours, 4 hours to get the highlights, get the iris right. But for general tabletop painting level, you don't really need to. But again, if you like this miniature enough, more than enough, go for it. Push the level beyond your imagination. That's absolutely achievable. For me, for this one, I simply just add a black dots there, and for most of my mini, I just a black dots. May put the highlights, but most of them just black dots. Because if you're looking at a 28mm scale or 32mm scale or even 40mm scale miniature, you're basically looking at a person with like 100, 200, 300 meters distance, so you are not going to see like very detailed unless you put it like very close, which you normally wouldn't. But if you're looking for like a display level of painting job, you should. Anyway, let's back to this miniature. So eye structures out, and then the whole eye area is not just eyeballs. All right, so it's starting with the eyebrows, and then there is a shadow area just underneath the eyebrow, the bone structure over there, and then there's a shadow area, and then there's the upper eyelids. That's also highlighted area, and then it's the actual eyes. The black frame I was talking about is a suggestion of the eye slash. If you are pushing the details to a different level, you shouldn't use black. You should use a darker skin tones, and then using black only for the eye slashes. But if you are just looking for strong contrast, just use black, it's fine. And then eye slashes, eyes, pupils, and then the lower eye slashes, and then the lower eyelids. That can also be highlighted, but most of the time you wouldn't have it, and most times the miniature doesn't really show it because it's quite a small area. And then if this detail is sculpted, it will most of the time causing blurry on the sculpture in PVC material. So most sculptors don't do that, and I'm not gonna say most, a lot sculptors don't do that. But anyway, if you can paint it, you can still highlight it and then shadow it to enhance the eye structure. And then mouth. Most characters' mouth is just using red unless you have a specific color you want to paint. And again, similar to eyes, the keys to have great, beautiful lips are the shapes and then the highlights. So to have a great shape, this is not like eyes. You can have like black outlines because of eye slashes. You can't outline like lips like with very dark in color, but you can starting from dark red and then build it layer and layer. So dark red, pink, light pink, and then highlights. You can do that. So it'll just you don't need to, but essentially enhance the contrast between lips and the skins around it. So you want to not frame the area of the lips, but to just showing this entire structure, showing the shape. And for the highlights, all the highlights of lips are just on the lower lips. You don't highlight the upper lips because that's where shadow casted, unless you have a specific lighting showing from the bottom to top. Otherwise, by default, the upper lips are in the shadow area, which normally you would use a darker red or other darker colors to cover it, and then highlights on the lower lips. Most I'm just using white, or if you don't want the highlights look a little bit too shiny, you can use like just light pink. For male characters, don't use pink like directly. Build it from the skin tones. So use the skin tones, cover the lip, and then adding a little bit pink to it. Otherwise, your male characters would look a little bit too female. Right. So that's basically face. This character has quite simple color schemes. So it's only the coat and then the inner shirts, and then there's a vest or corset, and then there's pants. I didn't put like stocking because there weren't any in the animation. I know some illustrations of Zantanna has a black stocking or different stocking, but I didn't do that. So this is rather a easier job for me. It's only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. Plus the skins, and it's very easy color scheme, and because of the simplicity, I have to and I have to make it clean. I use black to outline every every color sections. So a little bit like cell shading, but not too much. It's kind of like a balance in between cartoonish style and a realistic style. So I used black outlines, but not too much, only to enhance the contrast between two sections of different colors. That'll make the miniature look a little bit flat, and then with all the gradients, highlights, shadows you adding on top of it, it will look flat, but also contains this volumes. So it's 3D, but in a 2D style, and not too much. Anyway, that's pretty much me done talking. And if you want to skip this entire paint job, just look at the very end. I'll have a timestamp in the description. And well, hopefully you enjoyed it. So this is what I end up with, and I believe I talked a lot in the showcase video already, but I'm just gonna point out, see the black lines in between those two different colors. That's what I was talking about. And then in here, the shadow area, I used black, like pure black, to frame each section of the colors. So that's what I was talking about. And then this makes it look clean and not too strong. See how thin this line is? It's not too strong, because if you make it too strong, again, it'll make like cell shading. It's a little bit too far from what I had in mind. Also, you still need a little bit gradient here. Highlights, shadows to, showing some volumes. And then the smoke here, I think I used some Everland Sunside here. So the shadow area, it's more like a dusty color. So this is like yellow plus black, and then plus a lot of white to simulate this color. And then there's some here as well, a little bit orange-ish color here. I use quite a lot dry brush here. You can see quite a lot of brush trails, and those are not like fully covered, because it was like black prime underneath it, and then the low capacity of the white paints on top of it make it look like shadows already. So I just left them there. Again, the whole focus is still face here. Head's hair, I had a little bit strong highlights in here. So this is because like this entire miniature needs some like highlightings, because those areas are quite plain, and then you need something to just I don't know how to distract people's eye a little bit, and then this is what that is. So the focus still the face, and then look through it, you'll find this is quite a shining spot here. Next side, I just black prime. I didn't even touch all those black areas. Legs, a little bit highlight here, and then shadows. The base, again, dry brush, and then each highlighting using white or light gray to frame this entire character. So that's my Zantanna. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.